Good, let's do an exercise for creditors reconciliations. On 8 October X1, TBone Rump, the owner of We Meet Your Needs, received a statement dated on 30 September X1 from one of his main suppliers, Sumptuous Sausage. Because his bookkeeper was away, TBone Rump immediately made an electronic funds transfer of R3,780, this being an amount due as per the creditors ledger account as at 30 September X1. So that obviously was the balance as per our creditors ledger account. So we're going to start off with that balance in the ledger of 3780. Now this guy's, well, he should have been fired in any case, because only 2 days after he's paid him, he came up with a reconciliation. And in the reconciliation, he noted the following. Number 1, the amount brought forward from the August statement of R1,300 was paid twice in error. Both the payments were correctly recorded in the creditors ledger. So let's just stop there for a moment. He made a duplicate payment. That is a mistake. But he can't alter the mistake because he actually made the payment. That's a fact of life. The same thing went through his bank account twice because he has double paid this creditor. And then further on they say it were correctly recorded in the creditors ledger. So there's nothing wrong with the creditors ledger. Now the statement, this is the creditor statement, reflects that the first payment was received on 20 September and the second one on 29 September. So was there any differences between the creditor statement and the creditors ledger? No, both of them reflected both these duplicate payments. So the action was wrong, but the recording of that action was correct on both sides. So yes, no difference. I'm not going to do anything about my account, and I cannot do anything about the reconciliation because the statement also showed the 2 amounts that were paid. The second one, an invoice dated 12 September of R1,600 had been recorded as a credit note for R610 on the supplier statement. Now guys, you must decide from where are you going to start reconciling. Now let's assume we're going to start reconciling from the creditors ledger balance to the to the creditors statement balance. We don't know the final balance as yet. So therefore, going to put in the T account, we're going to start with the 3780 that we have, and that is how far we are with that account as now. So here we don't know what the balance is. But what we do know is that they say an invoice dated on 12 September of 1,600 had been recorded as a credit note of R610 on the supplier statement. Now the first question is, was my records correct? Have I made a mistake? And the answer is no, I didn't make a mistake. The second thing is, but why doesn't this thing now reconcile with a creditor statement? The creditor made a mistake and we will have to tell him that he made a mistake. But can you guys still remember, spot the difference? So what I want to do is I want my account to be a mirror image of his account. So therefore, there's my account. At the end of the day, I want him to look like his statement balance. Now in my account, I've done the right thing. I've posted an invoice of R1,600. So I'm not going to pass an entry in my account. My account is right. But what did he do on the statement? On the statement number 1, he hasn't passed R1,600. So if I want to make on a piece of paper, that is what the reconciliation is all about, is writing up differences on a piece of paper. So if I want make my ledger balance the same as his statement balance, my ledger I have posted in that account balance, which you don't know what the balance is as yet, but in that balance was included R1,600. What did that R1,600 done to my balance? it increased my balance. He didn't post it at all. So if I want to make my balance the same as his balance, I have to take out the 1,600 Rand in my balance, then it isn't in my balance either. I'm not going to pass an entry in my books because my books are right. But on the piece of paper, I am going to say, well, included in whatever that balance is, I must take out 1,600 so that my balance and his balance reflect exactly the same items. So here we take out the invoice of 1,600 at whatever the ledger balance is going to be after we have calculated that. Then the second part of the sentence says, what did he do? Well, the creditor posted a credit note on the statement of 610 Rand. Now, we are not going to make the same mistake in our books. But as long as that credit note is lying on the statement, which is not reflected anywhere in our books, that should not be reflected anywhere in our books, it will cause a difference between the ledger balance and the statement balance. So if we want to make the ledger balance the same as the statement balance, we must ask ourselves, what did the credit note do to the statement balance? Remember, it was a credit note that he passed. So a credit note reduces the balance. So if he reduces balance with 610 Rand, we also have to reduce our balance with 610 Rand so that both of us have done exactly the same thing. I say again, we're never going to post this in our account because it's not right to post it, but we have to declare the reason why our account balance and the statement balance isn't the same. And one reason is that the statement balance was reduced with an amount of 610 Rand, which our balance hasn't been. So now artificially, we are going to decrease our balance as well with 610 Rand. Now, in the beginning of the month, the credit side of Sumptuous Sausages account in the creditors ledger had been undercosted by 1,850. So the opening balance should not have been 3,780. The opening balance should have been 3,780 plus 1,850. Now, obviously, we made a mistake and we have to rectify our balance. Now, I could have just written down the correct balance from the start there, or I just put it here separately so that you can see exactly what I've done with that. The original balance was 3,780, and now I'm just going to rectify the costing error. So it's not an entry that I have to put through my books. I'm going to delete that out of my books and I'm going to insert the correct balance, which will be those two together. The 3,780 plus the 1,850, which gives us a total of 5,630. And that is the balance that should have been the opening balance of the ledger account balance. An invoice for 270 Rand shown on the supplier statement was for piano sausages ordered by We Meet Your Needs, the entity, but supplied directly to Mr. TBone Rump for his private use. TBone Rump, remember, is the owner of this business. So what he's done is he has ordered the sausages, whatever it is, pianos. They actually delivered it at his house for his own consumption. But in some kind of confusion, they just add it on the supplier's statement. Now, I will definitely not be brave enough to tell them to take it off and go directly to the owner because I'm working for the owner. And I can rectify this matter. What do we use? What account do we use if the owner takes something for private use? We use the drawings account. So why don't we post the 270 Rand in our books and then we're going to take the counter leg to drawings. If the supplier posted an invoice for 270 Rand, what did he do to the supplier's statement balance? Must have increased the balance. So if we want to do the same here, we are going to post that entry into the creditor's ledger account of Sumptuous Sausage. So it will be a credit on this side. Why? Because balances increase on the credit side. It's a creditor's account. So we're going to credit this balance with 270 Rand, and we're going to debit drawings with 270 Rand. And that was actually the last balance here. So now we can go along and we can balance off our account of Samsha sausage. And we will see we will end up now with a closing balance, a correct balance after adjustments have been passed of 5,900. Once we worked out the balance of 5,900, we can put it in our reconciliation. So balance per creditors ledger, 5,900. And now if we're going to subtract this 2,210 Rand, which was this adjustment entry that we passed on the reconciliation statement, we are going to determine that the balance as per the creditor's statement must have been 3,690 at the end of September.